So we gotta make sure.
But Dave did talk to Mr. Newman this morning, and Mr. Newman did
Right.
look at a house on Wetters and give an occupancy permit. So Mr. Newman at this particular moment is our temporary.
Yeah, so we gotta make sure we get that approved, dollars and cents wise, so we can pay Mr. Newman
Yeah.
for helping us today, and then offer him this position. And then the gentleman that's building the new house down on River would like to ask some questions of the building inspector.
The new house on the river.
Just this way of 8 Mile Road,
Oh,
because he hasn't seen an inspector yet, from my
Yeah.
understanding,
Right.
and he's got a basement in, he's got walls, he's got questions, but, you know, what we're gonna end up with is another situation where somebody gets something so far gone, and then it's gonna be like, nope, that's not good enough, and now we got another problem on our hands. We do not want that. We wanna make sure that
and that building permit has been issued or requested
it exists.
for the house on river.
That one just this, yeah, my gosh. They got the basement in the ground, if they don't, then we're gonna go stop working.
Well, I'll talk to Dave tomorrow. I didn't get to talk to him this morning, so I don't know if this problem he's got is a week problem or a month, or if we hire Mr. Newman, he's just gonna turn everything over to him, is what I would assume would happen tonight.
That's kind of my understanding.
So let's address the new building inspector, and if he accepts the job,
So
we'll set a date that he starts and a date that Dave turns everything over to him.
so the motion is to
Approach Mr. Newman.
approach Andrew J. Newman on being our new building inspector, and to enter into negotiations where we were talking 75%, 50 in the beginning, once the rough in, or the,
Yep.
and then 50% at the end.
75% of the building permit, with 50% paid at rough-in, 50% paid at occupancy permit.
So that's my motion.
You're not even gonna include the zoning.
I think each piece needs to be, I don't
Right.
want, if he was to have a problem with zoning, I don't want us to have to revisit it. Let's get him going.
And,
I'll second it.
but, oh, I thought you made it. Okay.
Charlie made the motion, and I'll second it. And we'll do the building,
I'll give you a motion for each phase,
all right.
just so we can get
So,
it
do you want a date as to when,
effective immediately if he's willing to
Yeah,
get
if
started.
it's-
We need him.
yeah.
50% rough-in and 50% wind.
Yeah, so this way the
Yeah.
dollar amount is in the motion, so he can not question what he's getting paid to start with.
Cruz,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes,
Campbell,
Yes.
DeShano? Yes. Class?
Yes.
So the second motion is to approach him in reference to being the zoning administrator and to enter into negotiations with a starting number of, I would almost do just a starting salary not to exceed $900 a month.
I'll second it.
Davidson,
Yes?
Campbell,
Yes.
DeShano? Yes. Class?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
All right. So, in the agenda there, I gave you the copies. Well, when I gave you the agenda, I gave you copies of the pages Spicer gave us to replace in the planning commission, for the master plan.
Yes.
So what we're looking at is approving that we accept the master plan, and then it goes back to the planning commission. It won't be for the 62 days though, or 63, it's only gonna be for 40-some days, where they have to hold an open meeting, and then when they approve it the next time, if there's no changes, it's done.
So this is the update reducing the,
Yes.
Yeah, making these smaller.
the
getting-
opportunity areas,
Getting
right?
rid of this one.
I think that picture is the updated picture. Is that part of the pages I gave you?
That's right, yeah, it is.
Well, this is correct up here. I know that's correct on this side.
This side's right. It was supposed to be reduced to just that side, not include that side. And it was the same thing over here, because I think we're gonna have the same argument from the same core of people.
Where at?
This
Yeah,
side,
yeah, yeah, but where was the other one at?
they wanted this side gone, and if I remember correctly, they wanted this side all eliminated.
No, I think this goes back to the original. Because this used to come all the way out here to Mackinac Road and go down to Town Line.
Right there, it was supposed to be reduced, okay, the top one stays the same. This stays, this goes. That's the map. That's what when we were sitting here in this meeting. Because that was the problem, because this would include taking the churches and having the churches and the schools gone, which the people of those areas absolutely were against. This isn't the right map.
Did this map and these pages go to everybody on the planning commission when we came back?
Yeah, that's where I got them
Well, so
from.
then why aren't we just telling people about this now? If this isn't right, why are we just doing this now?
I don't know.
We just leave it that way, let it go back to planning commission, we'll see what happens in public hearing. That's all.
Did we need to specify the new zoning district for Passat Beach?
This is the,
I'm just curious if we need to specify, because everything else is specified. Except for that one, it just says new zoning district, it doesn't actually have a classification. You know,
This
like a
is-
C2, R2, there's nothing listed there, it just says new zoning district, so.
This is not right.
these are the pages that Spicer sent to the planning commission that I received, are the pages that are to be replaced in the original book.
Well, we would approve it and let the people show up if they're not in agreement with it. That's simple.
So I make a motion to approve these pages to be replaced in the master plan, and that the master plan then go back to the planning commission to start the, I think it's 42 days, I'll have to look at the paperwork, but they should know. I think it's 42 days.
63.
No, it's, for some reason, it's not the 63 days that they have to, it's like 42 or 43 days. So, I make a motion to approve these pages to be replaced in the master
When
plan.
did Spicer send these?
I don't have the cover page with me right now. Well, I don't know when Spicer sent these, because I got these from the planning commission as replacement pages.
This says the draft is of June 18th, 2024 on the map itself.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We'll do a roll call vote on that.
Campbell,
The motion is to just replace these pages and we accept
This
them
is the
and accept.
picture that, this is what.
I'm
Mark
looking
said.
at it right now.
You got the X's on it?
Yeah.
All right, so.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor. That was the original, because it went all the way to
I
Maggie.
know. We're just making sure that it's reduced properly. I mean, we've only been working on it for how long? And how many times did we get wrong
I know,
maps?
that's why I'm wondering why we're just verifying it now.
Because I don't trust what's on a piece of paper, because when it got in front of us, in front of the people didn't agree with what was in front of them. That's why. And if in doubt, check it out.
My point is, it should have been verified before.
We got a motion on the floor. Would you like to vote one
I
way or
will
the other?
vote yes.
DeShano?
Yes.
Class.
Yes.
Cruz.
Yes.
Davidson.
Yes. All right, C is a contract. Our contract with our township auditors is, this was the last year on it. I know. Provided to Cook Township for the years ending, oh,
Yeah,
yes.
it was.
So this is a
This is a
new
new
contract
contract.
for 3 years, 25, 26, and 27, for them to do our audit. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, they do a marvelous job, and I don't know if have we ever had any major problems after they've done the audit? Nope. So if you see on page, whatever the hell, the second page from the back is,
New fee schedule.
it's a fee schedule, it goes up, what, $300 a year? From 7,900 to 82 to 85 over the next 3 years.
How long have you been with this company exactly?
Boy, I don't know, as long as I've been here, the 5 years I've been here, I don't know how
As
long.
long as I, yeah.
As long before that, too.
Yeah, they've been our auditors for years and years, I know, I can't tell you the year it started, but
Have we done any price
You
comparisons?
also got, in your mailbox a little while back, the last year,
Yes,
last
yeah, I did
contract.
receive that. Okay. I'm just curious if we've done any price comparison at all with other
I
reputable
know maybe
companies.
5 years ago, we got a quote, I believe, from, Fitzu, and they were, considerably higher. I don't remember what it was, but that's the last I remember.
Wineland or Fitzhugh or whatever the hell their name is, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not even sure they're around anymore, are they?
Yeah, they're still in
Are they?
business. I don't know if they're.
I'd like to stick with these, I mean, Darcy's worked real well with us, I don't know how long she's gonna stay with them, but, I'll make a motion to accept, it's called a letter of engagement. So we're going to become married someday, engaged today and married apparently next year, for a 3-year contract starting March 31st of 25 through 27.
I'll second that.
With Berthium and Company, you got the name, Berthium and Company? Okay.
I was trying to find if there was a clause in here, the requirement, should we change our mind for any reason, that this would be binding for the 3 years. We gave them notice. I don't know if I'm just missing that.
I don't know if it's in there, but with the possibility of changeover in the next year, so I don't think you wanna be changing.
Well, what I want to know is if we accept their fee schedule, are we contractually bound to stay with them for 3 years? That's my question. If something were to change otherwise, you know,
If that is the case, then no, this shouldn't pass.
typically, you know, we would have something, right? That if we're signing a contract, there's usually going to be some kind of, you notify us so far in advance of the end of that fiscal year, that would be the final one to audit, rather than actually just accepting these projected fees for 3 years. Don't want to tie anybody up going forward and not be able to get out of it if they felt the need to.
Well, I don't see it.
I would just like clarification, if we just acknowledging this is what they're gonna charge us for the next 3 years, and we're saying, yep, we got it, we received it, cool, that's a lot different than saying, we're gonna agree to this and you will be our auditor for the next 3 years, and that's not really explicitly stated here.
Well, it says the fees are based on anticipated cooperation from your personnel and the assumption of unexpected circumstances will not be encountered.
Isn't that kind of what the first sentence states? I mean, it's an engagement letter, and it's an understanding of services for the next 3 years.
I think it should be tabled.
Well, we have a motion, and it's.
Well, we're having discussion right now. You can have a motion and have discussion under Robert's Rule of Order.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
I
I think
mean,
the point is, I mean, we already have a motion and a second, so.
That's when discussion.
That's when discussion happens according to Robert's Rule of Order.
Because we have a motion and a second, we need to vote, and then if we go to table after that, if it doesn't work out, we can.
You don't talk about something after it's passed. You talk about it before it's
yeah,
passed.
no,
That's
I think
Robert's
the
Rule
problem
of
is you
Order.
brought up the word, we're gonna table it, and I didn't know.
That's my opinion. We should table it.
So you want a clause added to it?
Just basically letting us know if we are committing by contract to stay with this company for 3 years, or if we are simply accepting that these are their projected prices for the next 3 years. That's totally a
It's-
different
Based
situation.
on the first sentence, I would say we're committing for 3 years. I believe that's what all of the other letters have actually, usually it's always been on, 3 years, we've committed for 3 years.
Well, typically, if that's the case, there would be some kind of clause in here about the termination of the contract, and there's
No
no termination clause. There's also no entire contract clause here.
Are you anticipating a reason we should terminate before 3 years?
I'm saying that I don't want to be bound for 3 years if something changes. I'd like to understand
what
if
kind of
that's the
change?
case.
What if the very person,
A hypothetical, what kind of change are we looking at?
what if the person Sam says has worked so great with us left the firm?
It needs to be explicitly stated, is my point. In order to have a term of the contract, you have to have an entire contract clause, and you have to have a termination clause. That is what's required by law. So if this is actually a contract with them, it doesn't meet the legal standard of a contract.
Stop. A minute. Okay, here we are. You know the question.
What's entirely, there's not a requirement that a contract have a termination clause. Strictly, it's if you can turn it down or accept it. So if you sign a contract and commit for 3 years, if you decide to back out after 2, arguably Berthiem and Sons, and company, has complained for 1 year's worth of work. They have a duty to mitigate their damages and find a replacement. Would they sue you? I rather don't. CPAs are not a habit of suing people. In my experience, accounting firms typically have multi-year contracts. It's usually for the benefit of both parties. You get your pricing is fixed, it's going to go up $200 a year for the next 3 years. If the price has been consistent for the last several years they've done this, then it's probably a good deal and it's consistent with market rates.
So we, as the township, couldn't have you draw up a termination clause and we say we're going to accept this with this clause added to it, and then let them do it before we sign it.
You have to make a counter proposal for a fuming company with what you want for termination. First of all, ask them if they'll entertain it. They may not entertain it. But you're basically talking about making a counter proposal to their company.
So if we accepted this, subject to them adding a termination clause,
I wouldn't take that route. I would either accept it or reject it and make a counter proposal. It's cleaner.
okay, a counter proposal was what? That if they add a termination clause, we'll accept
Go
it?
back and tell them, please draft, will you draft a contract with termination?
Okay, that's fair.
And if you've got some suggestions, if you want to give 6 months' notice, a year's notice, then fine.
Yeah.
You can find out whether or not they'll even accept it.
Well, I'm sure their termination clause wouldn't be in the middle of their audit, so they're gonna wanna know ahead of time.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure.
So we would wanna know ahead of time because we'd
Well,
still have to
good luck
find
finding a
somebody.
company to replace them too. If you try to terminate your own
Yeah.
audit, you're not gonna get
I was
some.
gonna say, we're gonna need somebody to replace them before we have to have our audit turned in, so. Well, there's still a motion on the floor, so now you gotta decide whether you're going to accept this or not.
So
Well,
that's,
That's
we could actually, if the person making the motion is willing to rescind the motion, we could do that and then make a different motion, or we could do a motion to amend the current motion. Those are the two options we could do in Robert's rules.
Well, if we turn this motion down, it's turned down, and then we'll have to ask them to redo the contract. So, I don't, we need to vote on what's on the floor.
okay,
Let's
so we're
vote
sticking
on what's
with
on the
that.
floor, and then it's yes or no, and then we'll go from there.
Ms. Shano?
No.
Okay, this is to accept.
Right.
So. Class,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes?
Campbell.
No. 3-2, just like I had my fingers up. I know.
Yep.
I will talk to them about that, but I don't, they've been really good to us, so I'm really not overly concerned. All right. The storage room / safe has, well, it says here, this is to digitize the blueprints. Apparently there's around 200 blueprints in there. So this is to digitize the blueprints, because if you were looking for a blueprint right now, you'd have to take more than your lunch to find them. They've been just thrown up on that top shelf. This will digitize them by address. So at least on the stick they need, so we can find them.
I
And
make a motion that this have further research done in light of what happened with our last files to where we didn't receive 11 boxes, I think it was, that just kind of like disappeared.
they didn't disappear, they asked, and apparently we told them that we didn't want them back. So they did destroy several boxes, we got 18 boxes back. Or was it 18 destroyed? I don't remember.
11 destroyed,
Okay.
8 boxes returned.
Okay.
But the problem with the flash drive is the bleed through, so anything on the back side of your page, when you go look at some of the pages, you can read it backward. And so at this time,
Typically, this is done for the county on site. The documents never leave the municipality. So having them come and pick them up and haul them away, and we never see some of them again, is a little concerning. Typically, people come in and do mobile scanning in the county. They do it right in the county building to scan their documents. so that you have the ability to check those things.
So